What is up, guys? Stos here, back at it for another dose of Stos. And we're talking week 2 NFL football. We did our week 1 predictions last week. Now it's time to move on to week 2. The one thing I will say is I recorded both of these videos after the Thursday night game. So I didn't predict the Chiefs-Lions game and I didn't predict the Eagles or Vikings game. I will say I would have chose the Eagles, but they're kind of sketching me out a little bit in terms of their first 2 games. I know they started off 2-0, but I think their wins haven't been as dominant as a lot of people have expected. But let's dive right into these week 2 predictions. I believe last week, how did I do last week? I think I got, how many correct did I get? Here, let me count these real quick. So in week 1, I went 9-6, obviously excluding the Thursday night game. So I went 9-6 last week. I want to see how I do this week. Hopefully we do a little bit better. Not a bad first week though. Starting off with the Ravens-Bengals game, man, I think this is going to be a great game. It's a divisional matchup. I think the Ravens and Bengals always produce good football games, especially when they play each other. The Bengals, I think, are probably still the favorite in this game, but I think a lot of people are going to be picking the Ravens because of how the Bengals season started. Personally, I think I'm going to go with the Bengals just because I would be pretty surprised if they start the season off 0-2. Don't think the Ravens look that good against the Texans anyways, so give me the Bengals in that matchup. Seahawks and Lions is the next one we got up, and this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going with the Lions. The Seahawks kind of surprised me with their play last week. I thought that they were going to dominate the Rams, and they fell short. They didn't play well at all. They didn't look good. I got to go Lions, especially coming off of a big win against the defending Super Bowl champions and the Chiefs. Colts Texans, this is a rookie quarterback battle. I'm kind of looking forward to this game. Both of these teams are all right. I think the Texans personally are at the bottom part of the league, but I still think this might be a good game. But give me the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson showed some signs of being a good quarterback, and I think the Colts team in general is just a lot better than the Texans, and I think if they execute, the Texans really don't have much of a shot. But I'm excited to see how CJ Stroud does as well. So give me the Colts. Bears Buccaneers. I picked the Packers to beat the Bears last week. I ended up being right about that. I personally did not have the Buccaneers winning, but they really showed out. I think that they have potential to be a decent team within their division, possibly make a run to win the division. I still have the Saints winning that division, but I think the Bucs look like a pretty good team. I think Baker is fired up, so I'm gonna take the Bucs in that one. Chiefs Jaguars should be another really good game. The Jaguars are a team that I think could go pretty far in the playoffs. I also think they're a team that could honestly fall off the side of the cliff, if you know what I'm saying. I think they're a very unpredictable team. I could see this team reaching the AFC Championship. I could also see this team somehow missing the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Chiefs just because of how good we know the Chiefs are, and I really don't think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and that entire team are going to allow themselves to start the season off 0-2. Packers-Falcons is the next matchup, and I want to say I think this week has a ton of great matchups. There's a lot of even teams playing each other, Packers and Falcons being 2 teams I think that are on practically the same level. Both of these teams looked good last week. They both got a win. Falcons beat the Panthers. Packers beat the Bears. But I think I'm going to roll with the Packers. I think Jordan Love is honestly a really good quarterback. I kind of think the dude's going to end up being a stud. I kind of had a feeling he would be from the beginning just due to the fact that he's gotten to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for multiple seasons in a row. And I think that this team is ready to make a push in their own division. I think the Packers and Lions will probably finish at the top of that division as long as the Packers continue to play well. The Vikings really haven't shown me much this season quite yet. And I think those 2 teams will finish at the top of the division. So give me the Packers over the Falcons. Moving on, we got the Raiders and the Bills. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think the Bills have started off terribly this season, especially with a really hard loss to the Jets without Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football. But I'm still going with the Bills just because of the fact that the Raiders, in my opinion, not one of the best teams. They kind of struggle. They barely beat the Broncos. Of course, I think those 2 teams are pretty evenly matched, but I think I still have to go with the Bills. It's kind of the same situation with the Chiefs. I don't see the Bills starting off the season 0-2, but at the same time, I don't think the Bills are the same Bills we've been used to the past couple of seasons. Titans and Chargers, I think this one's a toss-up. I think this really could go either way. But if the Chargers are playing to the level that they can, I got to go with the Chargers. I think their potential is just too high, and I think their offense has just got a lot of firepower. Their defense has a ton of question marks, but they do have some stars on defense. I think the problem with the Titans is just it's been kind of the same thing each year. I think Tannehill is obviously regressing, and obviously they did add DeAndre Hopkins, but he didn't do a whole lot in week one. And I kind of have this feeling that the Chargers might score like 30 plus in this game. So give me the Chargers. Rams versus the 49ers. I do not expect this to be a good game. It is a divisional matchup, but I would assume that the Rams or not the Rams, excuse me. I would assume that the 49ers blow out the Rams. The Rams do look a lot better than I expected, though. They did beat the Seahawks in week one, so maybe they put up a fight against the Niners, but I think the Niners are for sure a top team in the NFC. Giants and Cardinals, I'll actually be at this game tomorrow. Me and some of my friends are going to this game in Arizona, in Glendale. I still got to go Giants, though. I know they they got shut out in week one and lost by 40 to the Dallas Cowboys. But I don't have a lot of faith in the Cardinals this season, especially without Kyler Murray. And I think the Giants, they need a bounce back win. They haven't scored any points this season yet, which is kind of crazy to think about. So I'm going to still go with the Giants, but I will say I think that game will be a toss-up. Jets, Cowboys, this is something that this is one of those games where it's like you wish that Rodgers was playing and you wish that they had their star player, because the Cowboys Jets, that would be such a good game if Rodgers was playing. I still think it has potential to be a good game, and part of me honestly kind of wants to pick the Jets. I feel like Zach Wilson will have a decent season this year, probably one of the better seasons that he's had. Not saying it's going to be something spectacular whatsoever, but I do think he will play a little bit better, especially having to fill in Aaron Rodgers' shoes. But just because of how dominant the Cowboys win was in week one, I got to go with the Cowboys. I mean, they won 40-0 against a team that was in the playoffs last year. So I got to go Cowboys. Commanders and Broncos. Man, if the Broncos don't win this game, I'm going to go with the Broncos in this one. I went with them last week and they disappointed me. But I'm going to go with the Broncos. And if they don't win against the Commanders this week, I think they've solidified themselves as one of the worst teams in the league, like genuinely. Because they're running out of chances. Like last year, you can say it was an experimental year with Russell Wilson. It didn't go well. It blew up in their face, this and that. But a part of me is just like, how many chances can you give this team, right? If they start off 0-2 against the Commanders and the Raiders, there's definitely a lot of question marks there. So I'll go with the Broncos, but a part of me kind of feels like the Commanders might pull something out of that. But we'll go with the Broncos and we'll see how it goes. Dolphins, Patriots. Now, this is a game I actually think is going to be very close. This is a primetime game, Sunday Night Football. The Patriots, in my honest opinion, look pretty good. I don't think they're going to be one of the bottom tier teams like a lot of people predicted. They put up a good fight against the Eagles. They lost by 5. I think their defense only gave up like 18 points because of that pick 6 that the Eagles got, so that wasn't on the defense. So I kind of think this game has the opportunity to be a lot closer than some people might think. I don't think I've taken many upsets. A part of me does believe that the Dolphins will win this game, and I do think that the Dolphins are the better team. But I think coming off of last week, the Patriots think that they got something rolling. It's a game at home, back-to-back games at home for the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick finds a way to win this one, so give me the Pats. Saints-Panthers. Now, this is one of the Monday night games this week. There are actually 2 Monday night games this week, that being Saints and Panthers, and then the Browns and the Steelers. I think both of these games will be fun to watch because I think the Saints and Panthers obviously both have a new quarterback. The Panthers have Bryce Young. The Saints have Derek Carr. And I'm looking forward to this one. I got to go with the Saints just because of how they looked last week. Now, they didn't look amazing. They beat the Titans by 1 point. But I do think that Derek Carr and the Saints are going to have something going this season. I am predicting that they win their division. So give me the Saints in that. Obviously, I wouldn't be upset if the Panthers won because I kind of like Bryce Young and I want to see how he does on that franchise and on that team. But yeah, I think I got to go with the Saints. And lastly, the Browns Steelers. The Browns looked really good last week. I'm not going to lie. They really did. I think I'm going to go with the Browns just because of the fact that they looked really good against the Bengals. The Steelers, like, I thought the Steelers-Niners game would have been closer than it was, and the Steelers just got waxed. So give me the Browns. And I think a lot of these games this week are going to be really, really good. If I were to say a game that you guys should for sure watch, I would probably go with, which game do I think will be the best game of the weekend? I will go with, man, that's a tough one. I'm going to honestly go Dolphins-Patriots. I think that's going to be a neck-and-neck game down to the wire. That and also Packers-Falcons. That should be a really good game as well. I do think the Packers-Falcons game will be good. I would think the Ravens and Bengals game will be good as well because I think both of those teams feel like they underperformed in week one. So I think that has a chance of being a really good game. Even Chiefs-Jaguars might be really good. There's a lot of good games this week, I'm not going to lie. Chargers-Titans looks like a fun one. I know I named off like 4 or 5, but this is a good week for football, so make sure to turn on Red Zone. I'm excited to go to the Cardinals-Giants game, and I'm going to keep a tally of my record throughout the season, and hopefully I make a lot of right predictions. But I hope you guys got your dose of Stos, and I'm going to catch you guys next time for week 3.